Welcome to the Sales and Marketing for Decorators podcast. My name is John Mears, and once again, I am joined by. Are you ready for this build-up?
Oh, here we go. Ready? That's great.
The wonderful, super slim body of a god. Beautiful, super decorator of the stars. You ever decorate for anyone famous? Different, yeah. Anyway,
I've got a few stories about that.
Mangan, once again. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Have you decorated for famous people before?
Well, very nearly, but I can't really talk about it because I had to. There you go. That's cut it down by 50%. She made us sign an NDA, so we can't really talk about her. But she wasn't.
Very nearly decorated.
Yeah,
you did the decorating job, but you're not allowed to talk about it.
No, I didn't do the decorating. Oh, I nearly did do a decorating job, but then we sort of fell out. And I've worked in Hampton Court Palace, and did do some work for Peter Alice, the golfer that's just died.
Yeah.
So I think that's about the most. Anybody else famous? No, I don't think so. I think that's about it, really. No.
I know someone who did some decorating for an England footballer, but again, you had to sign an NDA. So you shouldn't really have told me. I probably shouldn't talk about it on here then.
No,
is that what all famous people do? Get you to sign an NDA?
Well, yeah, I don't know why. I suppose it gives them a feeling of being important, doesn't it?
Yeah, they don't want Hello magazine finding out that they've still got magnolia walls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think that's it, really. I can't think of anybody else that No, not really.
Anyway, should we get cracking? We've got
what are we talking about today?
Today, Trev.
Yeah.
The question is, how can you deliver exceptional customer service as a decorator? Now, I've been keen to talk to you about this specifically because
you're making me feel very, very special.
You've had some pretty awesome feedback on your quotation process recently, haven't you?
Yeah, but just the quotes. I'm not even a job. It's just the way apparently the way I do my quotes is quite impressive. So
I think it's brilliant. So for everyone watching, listening, tell us about what is your quotation process? How is it different to what other decorators are offering?
I don't know if it is different. It's just what I do. So what I do is I phone up the customer, have a chat on the phone, give them get them an idea of sort of the budget they're looking to spend and what we sort of charge. Tell them that we take 25% deposit. We expect payment on the final day, so all that's up front. Don't be frightened to talk about money because I find a lot of people embarrassed. If you're embarrassed about money, then they're going to be embarrassed, or they're going to they're not going to want to talk about it. So bring it up. Talk about it straight away.
I think not only are some decorators a little bit embarrassed about talking about money and don't like bringing it up. I think that's a sort of British thing in general, not to talk about money. But I think a lot of decorators are far too honest. And I know of decorators who, if they finish half a day early, they end up giving up some money back to the customer.
But then on the other hand, so you get the other ones, don't you? Then you give them a price, you'll finish early, and then they want money knocked off. I don't know. You don't go to Sainsbury's, do you? And haggle about. My feeling is, if you finish early, then that's down because you've put the hard work in. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's
you've delivered on what you promised. They wanted a redecorated room. You've done that. Whether it takes you an hour or 6 weeks, they were happy with the price.
Yeah. Until they see the
result, aren't they? They're not paying for you by the half hour. That's
no. So we do talk about money. I do say that that I expect payment. We'll go around on the final day, make sure everything's all right. Yeah. If it is, then I expect to be paid there and then, not there and then, but by the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that gets talked about. Then I just send an email confirming the appointment. If they can't make it, just let me know rather than, not be in, which is a bit of a nightmare. But just send them I send them an email with confirming the time, tell them a little bit about how the appointment's going to go, how it's set out, what we're going to talk about. I've also spent a bit of time putting like a company brochure together, so I send that as a PDF so you can have a read of it. I was told to put it in the post and send it as something they got in their hand, which is a good idea. But the trouble is, nowadays everybody's in this Amazon Prime mindset, and if you can't get there tomorrow morning, then they're not. They sort of everybody's impatient. But I do just send it as a PDF so that they've got something to look at.
Yeah, I think that does what it needs to be. Putting stuff in the post, I absolutely get that, and
I mean, it's lovely. It's a lovely thing to do.
Yeah, but I think then there's additional costs with that. So, like, you'd never, if you were going to send it in the post, you can't then just print it on normal paper. You've got to get some thicker, higher quality paper.
That's exactly what.
You've got to make sure your printer's perfect. You've got to put personally, I would always put a first class stamp on it because you don't want them to see a second. Exactly. There's all these little things that you think, well, you've got to start getting all these bits and bobs right. Before you know it, you're running into sort of £3-4 each one. And you think, is it just as well to send it on an email and they get it straight away? The
only other way around it, I suppose, is to be a little bit more choosy and then maybe Google Maps the address and see what sort of I know it's a bit snobby and a bit. But just see what sort of neighbourhood they live in, and then market yourself, market your brochure accordingly. Yeah, no, but no, it's funny.
I cut across you there. So you've sent the PDF. What sort of things does that include? It's information on the company, is it?
Oh yeah, I wish we'd have planned this because I've got one in the van. Yeah, it's just a bit about myself.
Yeah,
where I've worked, what you can expect when you take on when we come and decorate, how we'll work, what you can expect to do, what we expect you to do, sort of empty the room and don't just turn up and have everything everywhere. You take out what you can out of the room, anything valuable, I will say anything valuable, move out of the room, and then if there's sort of bits of furniture, we don't mind moving those for you. But a little bit about the process. A little bit about like the special thing we do if you do things that I don't think other decorators do. I'll give away my secrets now, but we provide plastic boxes. These storage boxes.
Yeah.
I think I spent about £150 on plastic boxes, and just say to them, look, especially if you've got a front room, we'll a couple of days before we turn up, I'll drop the boxes round. You can put your stuff in there, and it'll just save you having to worry about how you're going to store it. So it encourages them to empty the room because they've got somewhere to put their stuff.
Yeah.
And also, it's turned out to be quite a good little sideline because when you're finished and they've still got their stuff in boxes, and you go back to pick up your boxes. Oh well, well we found that one quite useful. Can we? And then you just add it onto your invoice. So yeah, you can make it. Yeah, you can make a little bit of money.
That's a really nice touch, that, because like you say, it subtly and nicely encourages them to start packing away their stuff.
Exactly.
So when you turn up, they've got no excuse.
Yeah. I tell you, another thing I do that's really good for getting reviews is, I think I had one down there. It's a diary. Just buy a diary. Yeah. Especially if it's basically if they're out of work all day or you don't see the customer, that you just write in there what you've done for the day, what you're doing tomorrow, and then encourage them to leave some comments. And I've had some really good comments left in the diary because it's just a way of communicating with the customer without having to go home, write an email or send a text. They've got something there, and it's a bit more personal than just sending a text. So that works really well.
I think people really appreciate that, and it's not much more, is it? This is only going to take you a couple of minutes, but it goes a long way. It's those little touches that really elevate things and turn it into exceptional customer service that's going to get you lots more reviews and recommendations.
Yeah. And like I say, that diary, I've had some really good comments there that I've used on marketing because people have just said, funny little things. You think, oh, well, that'll do. I can use that. So, so that's what I include in the brochure, and then basically just a little bit of a history of what we've been up to. So,
just one more thing on the diary. Do you get a new diary for each job, Or do you tear out the old pages?
No.
You leave all the old comments in there.
I leave it in there so that because everyone's nosy, isn't they?
Yeah.
When I take it to another one, they can go back through and see all the comments from the other customers. So yeah, no, I don't mind. I don't get, because it's such a good thing and people like using it.
Yeah.
I don't think, touch wood, I've ever had a bad comment left in there. So people go back through and see other people's experiences. It is a good little sales tool. So
if I ever get hold of that diary, you know that I will fill it with stupid comments. I'll just there'll be some random page in there that just said, Trevor was a fantastic decorator, but for some reason he didn't wear trousers or underwear for the entire project. I didn't mind, but and then just watch all your customers get nosy and snoop through it. He had very much a Winnie the Pooh look. He wore a t-shirt but no bottoms.
But no, so that's so yeah. Then go back to, and then like I say, at the end of it, I'll just put like sort of like milestone achievements that we've done. So just in the back, so that it sort of keeps it up to date without having to redo the whole bloody brochure each time.
Yeah, I suppose because there's fair amounts of work that you can do where it might not look like you've done a lot of work.
Yeah,
if you spent all day rubbing down and filling and stuff like that, and then you put a primer coat on or something like that, they could look at it and go, well, what's he done today? Or all I can see is the woodwork's a slightly different, you know, see-through shade of white. And it's you can then go, well, I haven't just, you know, put a primer coat on the woodwork. I've actually spent all day rubbing it down and filling and stuff like that. So that's where the time is. So yeah, I think that's a brilliant touch.
I was going to say I could show you. I could share it on the screen, but if you're listening on the podcast, there's not much. It's not really going to help very much, is it?
Won't be much good.
So that's that. So I emailed that, and then I found a piece of software where you can actually record yourself in an email. So I also send an email just saying thank you for inviting me to come and tender, come and give you an estimate. Yeah. And then just say, you know, just go over what I've sent an email, really, you know, just confirming the time and the date, but make it personalized. And that's one thing that people love is, like, you send a video, you sit here in front of your webcam, just say, thank you, Mrs. Jones, really appreciate the chance to come and quote your work. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow at such and such, whenever it is. If you've got any problems, let me know. I'll bring a few colour cards with me, did all that old sort of thing, and then just send the email. And people have loved it. It's just a personal touch. And the other thing is, they get to see you, so when you turn up, they recognise you, and they sort of already know who they're looking for, rather than, you know, just walking in to it. You know, they've got a stranger coming in their home. They feel like they've already met you, so it breaks down that.
I think that's one of the most important reasons to have your social media profile picture. Should be a picture of you, not your logo. I think there should be a picture of you on your website and things like that. And it is that you shouldn't be a stranger turning up to their house for that first meeting. People should know what you look like. Video is a great way of doing it. And that little personalization touch goes such a long way. I mean, so every job I've had, every time I put together a quotation, or like a proposal pack, whatever it might be, I will always, even if the whole thing stays the same for every customer, I will just change one line on the front of the document that says proposal prepared for such and such limited, and I'll put their name and their company name on there. So it takes 30 seconds just to edit the name on the front of the document. The rest of it stays exactly the same. But the amount of comments you get back going, oh, such a lovely touch, putting my name on the front of the proposal. They don't know that the next 10 pages of that proposal are the same for everybody. All they see is their names on the front of it, and they think, oh, that's a lovely little touch, and it goes such a long way. And it's just a little thing that's so easy to do. Yeah.
And the video thing, I can understand why people are a little bit sort of reluctant to do it, because nobody likes seeing themselves on video. Nobody likes hearing themselves. We've both been through that, haven't we? Because I remember you saying to me, oh, I've got to do video. Oh, I've got to do video. And you are your own worst critic. You see things that no one else will ever take a blind bit of notice of. You know,
I'll tell you what, when I first started recording videos of like me talking to camera, my gallery on my phone was just hilarious because there'd be like 50 versions of a 20-second video.
Yeah.
And there'd be like 5 videos of me going, "Hello, my name's John." Oh, for fuck's sake. And like, you get about 10 takes in and you'd be like, I can't even say my own name properly anymore.
And the thing is, John, you'll concentrate on getting one bit right, and then you'll get another bit wrong. Then you'll get that bit right, and this bit will go wrong. You think, "Fuck it,
You get like 3 words in, and you just go, and then you go, "Oh no, I can't go, I can't." You're like,
and you just gotta go with it, and just you know, and the harder you try, the worse it goes. It's you just gotta just relax and go,
Definitely.
I mean,
that said, I found it took probably 2 or 3 weeks of trying to do it on an almost daily basis, and a lot of times I'd record a video and not post it on social media or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to do it. Just get used to it. Yeah, exactly.
Couple of weeks, and it became sort of second nature. You find your voice, because that's the other thing. When you first start talking to camera, you end up putting some weird voice on. You start talking like a TV presenter.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome to. Hang on, I don't sound like that.
Yeah, my name's Jonathan Mears.
I do it sometimes when I introduce this podcast. So, welcome to the Sales and Marketing for Decorators podcast. I'm like, what are you talking like that for, you knob? It just takes a bit of practice. You just got to go with it and. Yeah, just realise.
I don't know whether you. I don't know whether you get used to it or you think, "Oh, I don't care. It'll go out," and you think, "Well,
I think one of the things that got me is I started doing them, and you start worrying as if like you're just going to go viral and millions of people are going to go, "Oh, what an idiot! He was stuttering on his words," and then you realise that only 3 people actually watch the video, and you're like, I don't know why. you just stop caring at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe I'm better to make a fool of myself because then someone will actually bloody watch it.
Take the notice. But I think you are. You're the worst critic that there can be. You just need to get on and do it. And and your customers won't know any different. They'll just be pleased to get a nice welcoming video email, which works really well. So I'll send that all off.
Yep.
The critical thing is, if you're running late, please phone the customer. Don't just turn up 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
And I've got told years and years ago, never start a meeting by making an apology, because that puts you on the back foot. Yeah. So even if I'm going to be a few minutes late, I tell them I'm going to be 10 minutes late. Then when I'm 5 minutes, late, they'll think, "Oh, well, at least he's..." So, always add a little bit on, I do, so that I still arrive before I actually said that I would. So, so that's a one that... And people, you go up in people's estimations then by turn up on time. And then when you turn up, I tend to wipe my feet, take my shoes off, don't even ask if, you can generally tell, can't you, if it's a decent house. I mean, if the house is got, knee deep in cat shit, then no, don't take your shoes off.
Make sure you got a nice pair of socks on then.
Yeah.
No holes.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoe covers is the other way. I think shoe covers is a nice touch. I know a couple of decorators do that.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe, but if you're going to go the effort of putting them on, you might as well take your shoes off, wouldn't you? Really? Well, it
depends if you've got smelly feet, doesn't it, Trev?
Well, that's true, yeah.
If you're a teenage decorator...
That's true.
Well, biological warfare, my feet, when I was a teenager.
In that case, take your socks off as well.
Bring your slippers round.
Yeah, exactly, take some slippers.
So you're in, you're chatting, you're measuring up.
Yeah, you measure up. When I have to measure up because the way I price my jobs, I use a spreadsheet, so I do need to measure up. So, and that goes quite a lot. I quite often get quite a few comments about like the laser measurer. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, you're the first decorator to come around that's actually measured. Well, I think, because I need to know what size your room. I need to know exactly what paint I need, and so you do get that. Make a bit of chit chat. look around the room and try and sort of find something you can talk about, whether they got whether they're into car racing or they've got some golfing, trophies, or just find something to, so you get a little bit of something going in common, so you can have rather than go charging into the decorating talk.
Yeah.
So try that. So have a wander around. I take a few pictures. I tend to go around the customer taking notes, and then I go around on my own, measuring up, taking some photographs. Then just say, thank them for, meeting you. Nice to meet you and all that. Go off and do the quote. This is my biggest one. If I don't do the quote when I get back in that evening or that day, it won't get done. Yeah. So I am religious about doing quotes on the day that I've seen the job. And I think there's a number of good reasons for that. The job's fresh in your memory. Mm. You can remember what the customer told you as well. So you've got, and like I say, if I don't do it that day when I've come back, then I could, I will. There's a 90% chance that I won't bother doing it, because it gets to that time.
Do you want a classic sales phrase? You'll like this one.
Go on then.
One day older, one day colder. That's what leads are. So you got to get them proposals, those quotes straight out, because one day older, one day colder. That's exactly what
I was going to say, because you get to that point where, I've left it 5 days now. I've left it 7 days now. No, yeah. I've left it 10 days. How can I send a quote now? They've probably decided to go with someone else, and you think you've left it embarrassingly long to get back to that person, and you think, and that's led to some good. Thanks for getting back. Thanks for getting the quote back so quickly. Little do they know, if I didn't get it back quickly, they wouldn't get one. But they don't need to know that. But when I send the quote back as well, I send the quote back with all the terms and conditions on. And also I found another bit of software where you can actually do a screen grab. So I download the pictures from my phone, put them in a folder, number them 10, 20, 30, whichever way I want the pictures to run. Mm-hmm. And then just do a quick screen grab, put the pictures on the screen and just flick through them. And then just talk through the job, so that you wanted this done, so we can do this. I'm going to use that there. Just a 5 or 6 minute video. Record that. You can put a little bit of classy music underneath it if you want to make it sound a bit better. You can put some text on there just to sort of say, who it's for, and send that off with the quote. And I've been getting reviews, as I've just shown you, and we talked about it. I've been getting reviews commenting about the quotes I've given back without even getting the job, which is just mad.
I think it's brilliant. Screen-o-matic, isn't it? The software you're using.
A real catchy name.
Yeah, but you can also do it in PowerPoint, because I do this sort of thing in PowerPoint. You put all the pictures in PowerPoint, and then you can record a video where you're talking over the top of it and narrating it. But that's what you're doing, isn't it? And I think it's brilliant, and it's something every decorator should be looking at, because so many decorators that come to me and they think there's no point putting all this effort into a quote, because all the customer does is skim to the bottom, look at the price. Well, if you want to make guarantee for a customer to take a bit more interest in the quote and what you're doing and the processes and stuff, I think going through the video, the photos and the video footage you've taken, and just like what you're doing, going, right, so here's a picture of your front room. This wall is going to get X amount of filling. It's going to get 2 coats. The ceiling's going to get 2 coats. Here's what the work I'm going to do on the woodwork and stuff like that. And people are lazy. People don't like reading so much nowadays. So it's
didn't even think of that. Didn't even think of that. Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of people will get the quote, skim it, go, right, yeah, he's going to put a couple of coats on the wall, a couple of on the woodwork, and there you go, the price is £600. Whereas you turn up with a video and go, right, here you go, so here's your hall stairs landing, here's how I'm going to do this and that, and blah 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 blah, and everyone's going to look at that and go, oh, perfect. And it's so much easier for them to visualize as well, isn't it? If you just if your quote's like back of a fag packet, right, 2 coats on the ceiling, 2 coats on the woodwork, whatever, then I think this is everything you said about your whole process. I think just screams that you're professional, you're reliable, you know what you're doing, you've been here, this is not your first rodeo. And I think all these things are, for an industry, for a trade where you're a finishing trade, so your attention to detail and how you approach things is so important. And no matter how many good reviews you've got, people are judging you on, people aren't going to, if you don't send your quote over for 5 days, to me as a homeowner, I think, well, if he can't be asked to do the quote for 5 days, is he going to turn up on time? Is he going to have excuses? Is he going to be reliable? If he can't do something simple like this now, no thanks, this guy's not for me. So I think every phase of the transaction has to be as good and as high standards as your final decorating work.
And also, going back to the video, it also covers your back, because you've got something there that you've actually gone through and said, look, this is what we're doing. There's no grey areas. Oh, I didn't see that on the quote. Well, I told you on the video what we're doing. It's on the quote as well. But people only tend to go through a quote and read a quote when there's a problem. Oh, well, I didn't know how to pay a deposit. Well, it says there on the quote, that's within the first 3 lines of my quote, it tell you, when I expect a deposit, you're not getting your work booked in unless I get a deposit, Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I had a classic the other week. Woman, beginning of January, wanted some work booked in for the end of January. I said, yeah, all right. Anyway, didn't get a quote, didn't get a deposit. And then the day I told her that I was going to be there, sort of, I said, well, pay the deposit and I'll be there on I think it was the 3rd or something. Let's say that, for instance. I get a message. We're expecting you today. I said, well, I texted about. I said, well, unfortunately, I haven't received your deposit, so I've not booked to work in. And then, oh, we didn't see that. I said, well, it's on the quote. I said, it's there on the quote. Oh, yeah, we've just noticed it now. Yeah, I'm sure you did. But yeah, stick to your guns. It's your business. Run it your way.
Definitely. I think that's really important, is everything you've done during that whole process is you've pulled the customer into your process. They are following your sales process. Everything is right. This is how it works. You're going to get a 15-minute phone call. We're going to discuss this, this, and this. Now you're getting this information via PDF. Then I'm going to come and visit you. This is how the meeting's going to go. We're going to have a chat. Then I'm going to measure up. You're leading the whole process. And I think too often in any sort of sales buyer situation, it's easy for the buyer to take control of the whole situation. And if you let them do that, that's when you fall into the buyer's trap, and you end up getting more and more desperate for their work, and you end up agreeing to do things that you don't want to do. Whereas you're very clear all the way along. It's just right. Here's the process. I take a deposit. You talk about money straight away, nice and early. You get that out of the way. And I think that setting that tone right away just goes, okay, I'm dealing with a professional here who knows what he's doing. He's got processes in place. They can then relax, sit back, and go, yeah, this is what I need. I'm happy that this guy's going to deliver what I want. I don't have to manage this tradesman, because I think that's something that a lot of people worry when they hire any sort of trade, is they got to constantly keep an eye on and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and stuff like that. And if you show right from the outset that I'm in control here, this is how we do things, and make sure you're paying on time and stuff like that, I think it goes a long way.
I mean, if you want to look at the video that I do, and I think there's a few other bits and pieces on, just go to my website and have a look. www.tjdecor.co.uk. Have a look on there, and you'll find it, and it'll just show you how I do it. And if you want to copy it, crack on, because I think it'll help raise the standard of quotes, and if it helps you, brilliant.
Definitely, I think, and it's little touches like that. I mean, it's not taking you much longer, is it? I mean, if anything, it's probably just as fast to record a video as it is to write the whole thing out.
I mean, I use a few bits of software, and I could probably do a quote with the video and email it, and I could probably do that in about 15, 20 minutes. It's just, it's not difficult. And that's why I do it when I come in, because I think, well, within half an hour, it's done, it's dusted. I haven't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't do this, but I thought it was a good excuse. I might start putting on a time limit on my quotes, whether it's 14 days or 30 days, because I do follow up this is another contentious issue, but I do follow up my quotes. I put in the email that I'll give you a call in a couple of days, just to make sure that everything I've written down and we've gone through is what you wanted me to price.
Yeah.
So I use that as an excuse to call, in a couple of days. So they expect my call. So I say, is everything all right? But I thought if I put a time limit on, there'd be another excuse to phone, wouldn't it? Whether it's, like I say, whether it's 14 or 30 days.
Yeah.
And just touch base with them again.
This is probably another topic for another podcast. But your second sales and marketing phrase.
If you did well today, we're getting a lot of quality today.
The fortune is in the follow-up.
Exactly. Yeah. No. But I mean, it's decorators again, isn't it? I don't know whether it's laziness or they just don't. Oh well, if they want me, they'll phone me. But no, it's you've gone to all the effort. You've put all the bloody legwork in. The least you deserve is a yes or a no or a fuck off.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It's people think, oh well, if they haven't, if they're not good enough to call me back and accept the quote or say yes or no, then they're not worth dealing with, or they don't. I shouldn't have to chase them. It's almost like a point of pride. Well, no, most sales require following up. That's why the fortune is in the follow-up. Most sales you should expect to have to follow up 3 or 4 times. So I think as a bare minimum, and I think that the best way to do it is always just to set out what you're going to do. So yes, you say, right, here's your quotation. I'll give you a call in 2, 3, 4 days or whatever, so that we can have a chat about if you've got any questions about the quotation, if there's anything that's not quite clear. You can set it up and make it very easy, but I think you can pick up so many sales just from that one extra follow up.
I think decorators feel that they're putting the customer under pressure, but very, very rare. I don't think I've ever been told. I don't think anybody's ever been rude to me. In fact, the opposite. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. We're meant to call you. People are so busy nowadays. It can slip their mind, and they, 9 times out of 10, you do get, oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, we're going to talk about it this weekend. So at least then you'll know what sort of timescale you're working to.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a funny thing. I've been doing sales for my entire career, and 99 out of 100 follow-up phone calls. Before you make the call, you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I feel like I'm being a bit pushy. I don't want to be too salesy. If they don't want it, then if they wanted it, surely they'd have called me by now. And then 99 out of 100, you call them up and they just go, oh yeah, so sorry, XYZ's been going on. I've been mega busy. Yes, we do want to move forward. Can you call me back in 24 hours or something like that? Yeah. Just because we've got a couple of extra questions or whatever it might be. But it's just, I think it's like, worry about it. Just start doing it.
It's like a lot of things in life, isn't it? The thought of actually doing it is far worse than actually doing it. And when you've done a few, you realise that. I mean, you can't. It's not decorators' faults. They're decorators. They've not been given any sales training or marketing training. It's just something that you pick up as you go along because you have to.
Yeah.
And to be honest, most decorators do a remarkable job considering they've had no formal training in it. It's a credit to them really that they actually take it on and do it.
Yeah,
to be honest,
100%. I couldn't agree more. Let's talk final verdict then. So, what would you say that the key is to?
I think the key is
exceptional customer service.
The key is just to keep trying to find little ways that, the easiest thing to do is try and put yourself in the customer's shoes, which is way easier said than done.
Yeah.
It is, because we're decorators and we do it all the time. And turning your front room upside down and painting the ceiling is no fucking problem to us because it's what we do.
Yeah.
But to a customer, they, you've had customers. Oh my god, they worry. But because so it's very difficult to actually find out, what your customer wants. The best thing to do is just talk to them when you're there. Talk to them. Say, just have a conversation. What were you worried about before I turned up? Were you nervous? What sort of things? And that's how I found about my boxes. That's why I've done the diary, just by thinking a little bit and also talking to customers. That you get a few ideas from them. So yeah, it's just ask a customer really, and
it's put yourself in their position.
And which, like I say, which people say, but you think, oh god, yeah, it's very hard to put yourself in customers. The easiest thing is just to talk to them, just when you're there.
And if you're not comfortable with that, then talk to friends and family and stuff like that, and just go, right. If pretend you're going to hire a decorator, what do you want to know? What questions do you have before you pick up the phone and ring a decorator, or what are you worried about? And you might find that 9 out of 10 people are worried. What happens if the decorator spills some paint or drips some paint on the carpet or something? Whose responsibility is that? What happens? Can it be cleaned? And you could probably deal with most of these things in like a one-page FAQ section. And just go, you could give that to the customers as part of the welcome pack and go, right, here's 10 questions that basically every customer asks me about. And it's all, what happens if there's an accident or whatever. And you could cut a lot of those off at the pass, but talk to customers and just understanding their problems.
Another good source of finding out those sort of answers to questions is Facebook groups. Go on a Facebook, just post a question. I did one the other week, about what annoys you about tradesmen, and it was the number one thing was communication. Not turn up on time. But one that I was really shocked about, having a little sidetrack, because we haven't wandered very much in this podcast. We've done well.
We've been all right,
one of them that I was really shocked about was tradesmen turning up and asking the woman of the house if the man of the house was about. So the woman answered the door, is the man of the house about? And you think, are we in the 1970s or something? All right, little lady, is your husband in? You think, who would do that now? Well, like I say, obviously people do, because it was quite a popular response. But
let's have I've got a story about this. We'll have a proper wander away, just briefly. A friend of mine, she used to, she still does, owns a pub, and every time anyone from like the brewery or anything like that would come up, they'd go, "Oh, can I speak to her husband?" They always go, "Is I won't say his name, but is he here? Can I speak to him?" And so she would then go and get him, and he would purposely take 5 or 10 minutes flapping around, and then finally come down and go, and they'd be like, "Oh, hi, I wanted to speak to you about the finances or the accounts or something like that." And he'd go, "Yeah, you need to speak to her, she's in charge." And then he'd walk off again.
Brilliant.
Like, right, we just wasted 10 minutes of your time because you were speaking to the right person in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
You wanted to speak to a man.
But it's rude, isn't it? It's just, never, what's the other thing? Oh, I've got one for you now.
Go on.
Never assume. Makes an ass out of me and you.
Yeah, nice, mate.
Exactly, isn't it? You just think, why would you do that?
Yeah.
It's just mind blowing. But and
we have got off topic, so let me try and wrangle this back on then. So final verdict is, I think the key is you don't have to go massively overboard. It's just those little touches. So you've always just got to look at, how can I be 1% better than the competition? How can I be 1% better than I was yesterday? And just learning and making those little tweaks. And it's those tiny little touches. That's what turns up in the customer reviews. I bet you probably get more comments in your reviews about how tidy you were and stuff like that, rather than he spent 48 hours filling. Yeah. So nice. It's all about service and communication and stuff like that, and just doing those little bits.
And the good news is, for better or for worse, as I was saying, trades have got such a bad reputation that you've only got to be 2 or 3% better than everyone else, and you've got a massive difference.
Yeah, and it's
So,
just
yeah,
hugely refreshing for them.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. Finally, a lot of people think it's about leaving cards and leaving flowers at the end. But if you can start, at the beginning really well, then by the end, I don't really think there's that need to. I mean, if you want to, you can. But yeah, you just set the bar pretty high at the start and just keep following through, I think.
Be professional, have your processes, have your systems. No, I completely agree. I think there's a lot in there that people can take away, and a lot of your little secrets. So thank you for sharing those.
It's probably the best podcast so far, John, I reckon.
Because it's been all about you.
I don't even think we should put this one out.
Okay, yeah. Well, this one we'll charge for this one. Trev, thank you so much. It's been brilliant to see your process and how you approach things. I really like the way you do things. I think a lot of decorators will be able to take some good information from that. So where can we learn a bit more about you? Where else are you?
On Insta at TJ Decorating. Find me there. Do the 2 Decks 1 Mic podcast, so you can find us on there. And where I've got YouTube, Facebook. Yeah, got the Facebook group as well. If you want to learn a bit more about my more the admin side, it's
that's brilliant actually. Yeah,
owning the decorating business. Yeah, on Facebook. So you're more than welcome to come and join there. John's in there, Pete Wilkerson's in there, Ian Crump. There's some really good people part of the group that are really keen to help people learn and sort of just help them along, really. So yeah, more than welcome to join that. All over the place, really.
Brilliant. All right, well, thank you very much. As always, if you want more from me, you can go to my website, jmears.co.uk/ebook, and there is a free marketing ebook written specifically for painters and decorators that you can download free of charge. So check that out. Trev, thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate your time and your help today.
No problem.
We'll speak soon.
Lovely. Thanks for you. See you, mate. Speak to you soon. Bye.
See ya.